Hey guys, I just want to let you know before we get into this episode that we've partnered with Band Builder Academy. Band Builder Academy is the #1 place to grow your music career. Run by top label manager and Sony Vice President Todd McCarthy, so you know it's worth it. Enter promo code CONCERTS at checkout to receive 10% off membership.
What's up, Ireland? Chad here from Betty's Nuklear. Welcome to Concerts That Made Us. Enjoy.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, Concerts That Made Us. Interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and that cheering crowd sound. It's concerts, concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
On this episode, I'm joined by Chad from Betty's Nuklear, a fantastic desert rock band from South Africa. The guys released their debut EP, Rise Betty Rise, on the 28th of October, and you're going to hear all about it and much, much more. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show.
Come on back, I bet I'll make you sing, I bet I'll make you cry. At the end of the day, baby, the light stops and it's dark. No need to hold back, there's only one way out. Face
Chad, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Thank you, Brian. Awesome to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you now. I'm looking forward to chatting with you over the next bit about your music. We opened the show with Red Sky. It's off your debut EP, Rise, Betty Rise. You released it on the 28th of October. Would you like to tell us a bit about it?
Well, that is one of our favorite songs to play. It's usually our set beginner. It really helps us to kind of, set the tone for our shows. That is a song about a dying planet. So it's quite a dramatic, intergalactic kind of feel to it. The story goes pretty much Betty's Nuklear in our little alternate universe. We are kind of a super band traveling the universe in search for life and, anything worth recording, pretty much. So obviously our message will become clearer as our releases go on. But so this one is pretty much me, the frontman. We're landing on this planet, and it's a war-torn. Everything's dead. Everything's morbid and red, and it's about my interaction with that planet's Betty. So it's kind of like every planet has a protector, and the protector is kind of the Betty. So Betty's Nuklear, kind of, yeah. So the Bleeding the Summer, our debut single, was us meeting our Betty.
I have to admit now, normally when I ask that question, I think that's the weirdest answer I've got.
Well, yeah, I guess my answers will be a bit weird because I write this stuff, so I spend a lot of time with the imagery and stuff. Yeah. But as it is, just off the bat, what you'll hear when you hear it is a kind of a sinister feeling, and the explosion within the track is us letting go of the Betty and letting that world die because it's normal.
How did you come up with such a concept? It's really kind of out there for a band.
Yeah, it is. It's very out there. Well, I was part of a band previously called Code 106. We also have quite a few things on Spotify and YouTube. And that was a very dark time, writing-wise, very political, very angry. Living in South Africa as well makes that kind of it's always in the foreground, it's always in your face. Everything's going to crap all the time. Yeah. So I kind of lived into that. But with Betty's, I wanted to approach it from a very out there perspective, something that nobody can slander, no one will be offended by it because the ideas and concepts behind it are not of this world kind of thing. So that's my mission, to kind of, so that the laws in each story, everything can apply obviously to a person because it's about people, but no earthly bullshit attached. That's pretty much.
It's a good way of doing it now, especially nowadays, and the whole cancel culture and everything. It's a good way of getting around all of that.
So we kind of completely jumped that ship. So obviously, if you listen to it without knowing it, we got a few write-ups about our EP saying that the big hints of lust and sacrifice and blah blah blah. I get that. That's the less metaphorical approach to the writing, but I'm very weird in my methods. So it will have something to keep it relatable always. In the story, something that you can apply yourself to, but then there is that far out concept that has nothing to do with it. So pretty much space, infinite possibilities. That's kind of our aim.
Brilliant. And what was the whole process like, from coming up with the idea to recording it and releasing it?
Well, so at first, we do everything ourselves. Everything is independent, and we're trying to keep it that way. But obviously, as we grow, we require assistance here and there. So our team is growing, but our plan behind it was to do the best that we could with what we had, and kind of just getting our message out there so that the EP was our main goal, so that we can start getting onto the circuit, so that we have things to send to the festivals locally, and easier to sell ourselves. The main concept would be in our upcoming albums and stuff like that. The Rise Betty Rise EP was pretty much our showcase with what we had to work with and everything.
And once you released it, what was the reaction like from fans?
Well, our fan base at the moment, obviously, because we don't have that much, or we didn't have that much content, was very local. So like the people who watch us play on a regular basis in our area or in South Africa, they loved it. People have been reacting quite well, our loyal fans so far. We have jumped on a marketing campaign with Plug Music Agency. So weekly now, I'm going to be creating and releasing visualizers for each track.
I was just going to say that I can't wait to see the visualizers for it, because a story like that, it's sure to be epic.
Yeah. Well, I made the Red Sky one. That one's available now. Yeah, so we are still we will still, once the budgets allow it, we will still make music videos, because we're quite passionate about that as well. But that is quite expensive.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with visualizers, just to kind of to set the tone for each song, and to give our audience and our viewers something to look at that's pretty. So it's not tied directly to the story just yet. It's more just the imagery. A compilation of abstract visuals that help sell the feeling of the song.
Yeah, I gotcha. One thing I noticed while listening to the EP, though, is that each and every song would lend itself very well to a soundtrack for like a big horror film or a big thriller kind of film. You could imagine it in the background playing as like something cool is happening on screen. How did you guys go about creating that sound?
So I actually don't know. There isn't a specific, like a moment. It's just the sound we generate. So like we bring our influences from all over. Anthonie, our bassist, he is more of a blues rock. That's more his forte. Our guitarist, he's actually originally quite like a pop guitarist, and he kind of phased into this controlled chaos that we've kind of adopted. Drummer wise, we originally set out on for more of a progressive tone. We had an issue with our original drummer who recorded the EP, Shane Carew. He got into quite a bad bike accident before we released. So that is his recording. Yeah, but we have now a fill-in while he gets better. Joshua January, who has to now fill those shoes. But we have a very progressive approach on the drums and the rhythm. We kind of, it just created itself. Like I'm an atmospheric engineer. I like that. So the feeling is very important. The environment that it creates, when you perform live. I just want it to be wholesome, strong, and it must mean something.
Yeah, I getcha. And one thing I'm dying to ask you now, before we jump into your history a bit, is what is desert rock? There's so many offshoots and different subgenres now. You see, it's almost like you see a new one every day. What is desert rock?
So, desert rock, in my experience, is kind of a branch of the stoner rockers.
Yeah.
It's kind of that slow, grimy. If you close your eyes and imagine a desert as well, it helps. I'm not one to research genres very much. I kind of just explain what I feel and what I write and the mission behind it. But Bleed in the Summer is a good example. We actually shot the music video in a desert, and it was like 43 degrees Celsius.
Oh.
We most of us had heat stroke at the end of the day. We didn't even finish all the shots we wanted to. But anyways, that helped kind of create that vibe. But desert rock kind of is just psychedelic as well. Kind of has that rugged, more of like that motion, that wave of music rather than just like a straight hard rock in your face kind of sound. So it's more, I think, psychedelic stoner vibes is actually what has driven that. A lot of people have called us that. We haven't really adopted that ourselves, but it does work. Red Sky is probably quite a good example. I think recording quality-wise is also a thing. Desert rock is usually quite independent and rough, but psychedelic, atmospheric, the environment kind of has a role to play, I've noticed, with a lot of other bands who consider themselves desert rock.
Yeah, it's an interesting one anyway. You definitely fit under that umbrella anyway.
Oh, I love it if it works.
Exactly. That's it. So at this point, I usually dive into my guests' musical history a bit. If you can now, what was your earliest musical memory?
Okay, well, I started, well, there are two. Before I started singing in front of people, I was about 14, 15 years old. I used to go for jogs. I used to tell my parents, cool, I'm going to go for a run at like 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
And then I go for a jog, which isn't really advised in our country, but we will do it. The more dangerous it is, the faster we run. But and then there was a pub around the corner that used to do karaoke's on Tuesdays and Sundays.
Nice.
And I slowly started creeping in there, underage, doing nothing. And I started there. The first song I ever sang in front of everybody was "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica.
Ah, good choice.
Yeah, that's where my metal love started, with the whole commercial Black Album. And then I started listening to the shit out of that. And I started singing everything from the hooks to the guitar solos. And it took me. And that was kind of my first under the radar. Started making friends with that old crowd. And then I started building up a little bit of confidence. When I was 15, at my school, they always did performances and obviously like productions, theater nonsense, Mamma Mia kind of crap. And then at 1 year they had a rock show, and then I was like, that sounds good. I went to audition. I saw the songs. The songs was Alice Cooper's Poison, Eric Clapton, Cocaine, and Ballroom Blitz.
Right.
Yeah, that was quite treacherous, but and that was kind of the birth of it. I fell in love with it, the emotion, the expression. There's couldn't really find an outlet like that, and then it kind of got me.
Yeah, geez, you must have had some pretty cool teachers putting on a show like that in school.
Yeah, it was actually our principal and his wife that wasn't a part of the school, but they just wanted to give it a go. And it was kind of perfect because they haven't done it since. How's that? Over all the generations of students and teachers, my one was pretty much the only one who did that.
It's
Pretty
almost
crazy.
like the universe was trying to tell you something.
Yeah, and I had to listen. But no, definitely those were my two first memories. Yeah, like with actual performance.
Yeah. And at home, did you grow up in a musical kind of house?
Not on the performance side, but my parents are real big music lovers. So my whole childhood, they would have braais and parties and do their stuff, and my sister and I would fall asleep on the couch listening to music. But it's like it's quite a crazy range. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with like Demis Roussos and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Classic. Simply Red, even Modern Talking, those kinds of things that enticed me towards like the vocal side of things. A lot of classical inspiration as well. Well, influence from just growing up around it. But yeah, and my dad only introduced me to the artist stuff when I got a bit older.
And how do you think, being exposed to that sort of music kind of affected you and molded you as a musician when you got older?
I think there's actually nothing better than that. I also do solo performances this side, like more private entertainment and things like that. And growing up with the music in my house has literally crafted an entire 3-hour set and I've been practicing that kind of. I even like from Gypsy Kings. I do everything like my Shakin' Stevens, Elvis. Very up and down, but it's party stuff. It's stuff for the holiday goes. Yeah, but I see that as my practice. It's my like Goku's practice dome kind of thing. I've been bending it and pushing my boundaries, and like even the Police was a big influence. Oh, Sting, love that guy. And it's very so. Those are more my vocal inspirations. Branch more from the classics, the legends. When I look at energy, intensity, and passion, then I look at my Pantera and my Slayer and my darker side. Yeah.
And what's the local music scene like where you live? Is it very vibrant? Is there much kind of competition?
Okay, well, South Africa kind of has it's Cape Town, Joburg, Durban. Those are the scenes. We are in none of them.
Right.
So we're in George in the Garden Route, which is like the holiday hotspot. Every year, everyone from these towns meet here. They pass through here. We've taken advantage of an unsaturated market. We are taking it upon ourselves to kind of revitalize the industry here, which is working quite well. So yesterday we opened for a band called the Black Cat Bones.
I know them well. I had them on the show.
Oh yeah, and that was amazing. Like, I mean, we don't really. Okay, we were quite heavy for them.
Yeah.
we opened up for them, and people like jaws were on the floor. But it was a good day. It was a good day. So that, for instance, that's like never happened, but it's happening now. We host events. We build our own. We're creating our own industry. So when we do events, we travel with an opening act and a DJ, and we do a 4-hour event, and then we close it. So it works. It's so much better than going to a venue and begging them, So not like for a time slot, and then you go and play for 3 hours. That's not healthy. It's not nice. It's not pleasurable. It's hard work, and it makes you resent your job eventually.
Yeah.
So we kind of really aiming for longevity and just self-sustainability, making sure that we can give it our all every time, make it worth it. We don't charge yet either. So we kind of just get a venue, we set up, and we build it. And our audience is growing. The people who come and watch us, they get inspired to maybe jam with somebody, start a band. It's happened a few times. But so now definitely because of our initiation of whatever we're doing, a lot of other musicians are coming out. And that's what we wanted from the beginning. Because you go to Cape Town and it's oversaturated. You have a whole bunch of musicians fighting over nothing. You know what I mean? Like the venues have very little to give to an abundance of artists that all are willing, and they end up playing for like $200 and a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah, and it's hard sore. I mean, I majority of the band, the guitarist, the drummer, and myself, we all three studied at Copa in Cape Town. We all, so we've experienced the industry that side. Dean, I know, has toured quite a few times to Durban. I've been to Joburg quite a few times. And just kind of seen how things work. Joburg is a lot more vibrant. I don't know why, but their scene is a lot more active. Cape Town struggles a bit, but we have the gold mine, because no one's here yet. the money is here, people are here, but the platform isn't there. So we're diving to create that platform. Any artist who comes to us will say, cool, man, our next show will get you there. Let's just get you seen and flip. We're very used to people not being very welcoming, you know.
Right.
But that's kind of, our first performance actually was at our drummer Shane's house during COVID. In his driveway, we had about, I think, like 70 people. And we set up an entire stage, and we sold tickets. We broke a lot of laws that day. The party ended with the police. That's what we wanted. People pull in the gates and say, "Shut the fuck up!" Neighbors, nice, hysterical. Yeah, so that's kind of, we want to stir.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only thing that really works, and that's the point of rock and roll. But people are too, fucking sensitive.
Just a bit nowadays, anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I love that, though. There's no scene, so you actually create the scene. There's not many other bands that do that.
Yeah. And then everyone forgets that that's how it started. But everyone wants to jump and piggyback on everybody else instead of just putting your head down, doing the work, and creating something that's fucking everlasting, And we have, with Dean Clark, our guitarist, he has Garden Rock Music Academy. So that's also a project that we're working on as well. So, I'm a lecturer as well. I also do vocal training and songwriting courses and music business and all that stuff. And Dean teaches guitar, our drummer teaches drums. And so that's that's also a big way that we contribute to the local industry. And we push them to create bands and, work on it. And we can help them organize those shows. We can help them with everything. The thing is, it's just about who you can make it happen. There's a lot of these musicians that are in this area that just feel hopeless because nothing's happening around them.
I have to say, that's pretty interesting now that, you guys teach courses and everything as well. Because normally over here anyway, you might go to college for music business or, music performance, and the lecturer could be like some 60-year-old guy who's never been in a band or hasn't been in a band in about 30 years,
Yeah. And then his idea of it is like already every day it changes. So I mean, nowadays the way you manage and get your name out there and build the community would be obviously a lot different to 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So you need somebody with experience. And I mean, I'm young, but I've been making money with my music since high school. So I haven't. And then straight from there I went to study and I came back. And I've had jobs in between and I'm still building my skills here and there. But the music thing is something that I've been relentless on. And my private entertainment has taught me a lot when it comes to invoicing and just like those boring businessy things, just the pricing. I need to act with those kinds of people, function life. There are compromises you have to make if you want to succeed. But I mean, eventually you can do what you want if you work hard enough.
It sounds almost like it's some sort of beast almost. You've got so much going on.
But we work hard.
Yeah, I can see that.
We are from but the thing is, like I said, Anthonie and myself were both in Code 106, and Josh, actually, the drummer that now replaced Shane for the time being. So, and we've learned our lessons. We've made our mistakes. We know which pillars need to be strong, in order for the whole thing to work. And then that's the media. It's like the marketing. It's the image. It's the consistency of both of those things. It's your local image, your networking, who you're talking to. It's so many things. And now we're working with a publicist, and a whole bunch of cuck. There's a lot of things. So it's quite a monster. But we focus on the main mission. The things around it just kind of form. But it is pretty. We want a beast. It must be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, you know what? If you guys don't become one of the biggest bands, I don't think anybody else has a chance.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot. It really does mean a
Yeah,
lot.
you seem to just, you have all the right ingredients and you know exactly what to do.
Mm. That's kind of why we've been like we haven't been together for that long. I think we're hitting 2 years or just past 2 years now. But we are all coming in with all the information and all the mistakes we've made before, and every decision that is made with 5 steps advance, like in mind.
Yeah, always looking ahead.
Yeah, you have to. And yeah, it's worked so far. And our only obstacle has been pretty much just funding, but we've been getting it because every show we play, every ticket we sell goes straight into the band, straight into the marketing, straight into, getting us on tour, getting all those things together. And it just, in growing the name.
And just jumping back to what you said a couple of minutes ago, you've been together 2 years. How did the band actually come to be? How did you form it?
Okay. So it's a COVID story. Sorry to fill the air with another one, but it just is what it is. So COVID destroyed everything. That's when Code 106 broke up. We were all like just floating in the air and thinking about what to do. We had the school idea pretty down. Dean and I jammed a few times, but never really materializing into anything. We jammed with like third parties. So like him and I would get together and find somebody else to jam with. And it just never really took. Anthonie, can't remember where he was, but he eventually came through. And Shane and Dean, they lived in Cape Town because Dean managed some studio space there called Kill City Blues in Cape Town. And Shane as well, he was working and living and studying, being a person there. They were both in Cape Town. COVID forced everyone to pretty much come back home, and home was George. And it just kind of happened. Musicians are always looking to make music.
True.
Yeah, an artist without a side project isn't it's hardly an artist. You know what I mean? You need to,
Yeah.
you need to kind of exercise that. Us just knowing each other, and Shane, Dean, and myself, we all went to the same high school as well. So we go way back, all different ages, but we've crossed paths, So yeah, we kind of, everyone's lives went to shit, and ended up back here, and we're like, yeah, let's give it a go. And then, yeah, it just kind of happened. We jammed and we were like, okay, this works. The gelling is the main thing.
Yeah.
No matter if you come to practice with 50 pages of sheet music and ask everyone pretty please to play it, it's not going to work out. So we just got together and jammed until something came out of it, and that something was Bleeding the Summer.
I would love to have been there now to see, the first session that you did, and you're like, you know what, this is actually pretty good. We're pretty good. We need to put a band together.
I have a lot of videos. I'll hunt one day. I'll make a before and after, because the growth has been crazy. So all of that in mind, and us knowing what we wanted to do, and knowing that being here, this side of the world, nothing's going to happen unless we make it happen. We all know what to do to make it happen. These agencies and entertainment companies, they aren't God. They are just people with phones trying to make money. I could do that too. So here we go. So we just went for it, and it's paved the way quite nicely. We've had a lot of obviously internal struggle. There's the natural obstacles, personality clashes, but we all want the same thing. So it makes it doable, and everything's kind of been running like water.
Good. And social media nowadays is, I always say, it's like playing Russian roulette. You'll actually miss more times than you hit. How do you guys approach it and approach getting your name out there?
Okay, so that's me as well. I have some experience with digital marketing, and I've had my fair share of jobs in the cyberspace kind of realm, but enough to learn how to manage it. So I do all of um, our graphics, our social media, posting, events, all that stuff. Everything online. The image is me, and it's better that way because just to kind of keep that image consistent and like the same every time. I take it from the keyword research approach and what people want and optimal posting times and kind of. But what I have noticed is the best posting is when you have something to offer somebody. You know what I mean? So like if I'm sharing an event, that will be easier than just look at Chad singing in studio. Ooh. Yeah, those obviously are. It depends on what you post. So we try to keep it valuable so that every post we have is about our release or there's a link to click. A lot of internal linking, or I mean external linking, a lot of mentions, a lot of tagging, a lot of that boring crap. It's crazy what you have to do to keep your head above water. But yeah, it's very easy to just fall off if you're not paying for your marketing.
That's the thing, and I feel like everything is kind of forced towards making you pay for things nowadays.
Luckily, the kind of marketing I specialize in was the organic type, the SEO and all that kind of thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I don't want to talk about it.
I am just a bit.
Yeah, that kind of stuff though. Setting your account up and your content up so that it ranks well and reacts well to algorithms and stuff like that. That's my approach more than paying ads. The paid ads work for events locally, but if we want to start doing paid marketing for YouTube, for instance, like I don't have 50,000 Rand right now.
Yeah.
So I will do my best, to make it appear, but by knowing what I do. So that's also YouTube. There's a lot to do with the SEO through there. The meta business thing. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube is pretty much all we use. It's all we have. And then our publicist. But yeah, it's tricky. It's very, very, very tricky. And it's exhausting because you can have a good month. And then, for instance, like I posted a competition for our event for yesterday, giving away 2 tickets. And Facebook just like full out ignored my post. Got like 2 reactions, but we have like 1,000 people usually looking through our posts. And it was like, okay, weird, very random. But I mean, anything can happen. And I mean, they change things in their algorithms and their stuff on the daily as well. So you need to keep up to date with that. There's a lot of research, a lot of, it's very exhausting. But it's worth it.
Yeah, when it works out, it's worth it. But it's such a headache. Like I even noticed with the podcast, like you said, you'll put up a post one day and it'll seem like everybody that follows you will interact with it. You'll put up a post the day after and one person might like it or look at it. Oh, just it drive you insane.
And it can be a post that I spent so much time on that post because it's like it's keyword. It's like you have to be sure what you're tagging and what feeds you want to pop up on. And that's where the hashtags come in. And you just really feel betrayed sometimes. But it's part of it. It's part of it. One day when we have big monies, we can market like people with big monies. But until then, we'll just be talented, I guess.
Well, it's not the worst case scenario.
But these days, you need it. And it needs to be responsive. And TikTok's also a good thing, but I'm quite against that.
You're not into the dance challenges and everything then, no?
Not necessarily that. Like, I mean, we can utilize it for our thing. Like, I mean, we can make the content appealing, to people who want to see our kind of things. But it's just me for right now. I'm not TikTok ready.
Yeah, I get you. I feel like though all of this is an extra added headache that bands don't need and that bands didn't have years ago. Do you think the way it's set up now it's better or worse than it was, say, 15, 20 years ago?
20 years ago, yeah, it'd actually be good to be famous, man.
Mm.
Nowadays, if your marketing's good and you're mediocre, you can become famous. And
Yeah.
it's very frustrating to, on the daily, you see people that like really, like, it's not a jealousy thing. It's not a bratty, childish, like, I want mine. It's just like, but it is very frustrating, and it can be demotivating if you see these people just, shitting out a track that means nothing, and it's like 30 million. But that's how it is now. It's all image driven, and yeah, that's the world we live in. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's all about how you look. It's kind of, it's just is what it is. So you have to really. But like, there are people who are really interested in good music still. People do exist. It's just, the other people are the majority.
Yeah, unfortunately. I feel like, though, it's having a bit of an effect on the music industry, because I feel like, first of all, record labels will look and see how many followers you have. It's almost like you already have to be famous before a record label will look at you. And then the other side of it is, I feel like the likes of TikTok and Reels on Instagram are almost destroying good songwriting.
Yeah, because you just have to come up with something 15 seconds that's catchy and you can make $1 million.
Yeah.
I can sit in a dark room for 3 months and write a ballad and no one will give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I guess then you have to jump on it. You kind of have to try and ride the wave. And I think when it comes to bands, the one of the best things you can do besides marketing your music well is marketing yourself individually. Do like your PR, to sell a personality as well. Jump onto that train slightly. Like for me, for instance, I need to start, but if I get somebody to start running my social media, my TikTok and my stuff like that, just to promote my personality, for instance, that is an awesome avenue into my music. Because these days it's a lot easier to sell people on your personality than it is to sell them on an album.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And that is a piece of advice that I think would work a lot for bands, because to market the band these days doesn't work as well as it used to. And it's very frustrating. And I mean, people don't even want to listen to albums anymore. Their attention spans are like crippled, It's like, cool, a single and that's it. So you have one shot to kind of prove it. No one's going to click and be like, I saw this album on TikTok. Let me just sit and put an hour and a half of my day away and listen to this album. It doesn't, doesn't work like that.
Those days are gone, I'm afraid.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So singles is unfortunately EP. The EP was our compromise to that, because like me personally, I'm quite passionate about my writing. So I would prefer an album because it would be a bit more complete. But seeing that it was our debut EP, like our first one, it was more just kind of a Betty's Nuclear soundscape, kind of just a taster of our sound.
Yeah, I feel like with you guys as well, you are more kind of like an album band because you have that story you want to tell, and it would be easier to tell it through an album.
Yeah, or comic. That is our other idea.
I wasn't going to say it, but that did. Well, I actually thought a cartoon, but a comic would work great.
Listen, haven't you seen the Betty on the album art?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in the works. It's in the works.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, with the merchandise that we're working on, that's also a big thing. Yeah, so like, yeah, I'll have her on it. There are designs in the works, but like alongside our story being so like, like timeless, earthless, like infinite, basically. We definitely wanted to do a BN comic book, because we have it's kind of like a retro pin-up Nuclear style that we're going for. And yeah, that's definitely on the heart, So with the original concept decided, like we do have a lot of, concepts that have been shot in the air. Each member has like their own world as well. If you listen to Headless Mountain, That was a song about Shane, original drummer. And in his world, he's like this furry Aztec king type style. And the song is about them taking the most beautiful girl princess in their village and sacrificing her in their volcano so that the village may eat.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of just sacrificing something beautiful, unique, and amazing so that the majority can be happy. So there's a lot of literal and metaphorical cues in there. But yeah, so that's his song on his world, which is like an Amazonian kind of, that's the headless mountain, it's obviously a volcano. So cut the top off. And yeah, that's kind of that story. Call Before You Ride, for instance, is more just, I wanted to create a feeling of Betty traveling through space and just going, you know. So it doesn't mean anything, but it means everything at the same time. Like a traveling song, you know, in between the songs, between the worlds. Red Sky is obviously the dying planet that we found. And yeah, they're all kind of just little eggs, you know.
You know what? I can't wait for when you get to the stage where you can actually make a film with the entire story and the soundtrack to it. It'll give Star Wars a run.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be epic.
Busy designing BN spacesuits as well for the animations the job. Yeah, there's a lot. So pretty much what it is, it's just a collective of minds that didn't want to conform to the shit that we experience in this country every fucking day. All the nonsense. It's very easy to get caught up in that. And yeah, listening to like our previous song, the Code 106 stuff, you can hear the anger. Yeah, so it's kind of just a black hole that we throw all of our ideas in, and however they stretch and mold and form out on the other side is what the fuck we give. It's pretty interesting. It's awesome because we're not limited. We're not put in a box of any kind. It's never like, oh no, fuck, that will never work. Like if you listen to Headless Mountain, the end is a full-on screaming match. I went full like death metal growl, and that was just because I felt like it, and I felt like the song, you know, required it. And it starts off Red Sky, Headless. Yeah, it's beautiful, whatever. And the end, it's that climax of everyone is satisfied, but with blood kind of thing, you know, because they killed her. So everyone's happy, but fuck, do you see how you did it? Kind of thing. And yeah, I feel like the outro to that song really creates a good image for that.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll jump into your gigs. For people that haven't had the chance to see you guys live, what can they expect when they come to one of your gigs?
Magic. Our biggest problem with this EP was to create the same sound. It was very tricky because effects reasons, and like obviously we couldn't record using the exact same preamps and blah 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 and all that stuff. Budget reasons and all that. We pride ourselves on the live performances. So you can really expect a kick-ass, immersive, psychedelic, hard rock experience. So like we really try and wrap you in our blanket, you know, of sound and imagery and stuff. But it's a lot more intense. I'm a very aggressive vocalist. But not in the sense that it's just like where. It's more like I'm very in your face and loud, but melodic and good. But it's like it's way better than the album. And seeing us live is just this is just me speaking from performance. I enjoy it. That's the reason we do it, is to perform. the reason for the EP was to try and obviously, get our sound out there as best we could, and get people to want that feeling as well. We're very down to earth, ironically, and yeah, we just love interacting with people, and the kinds of people who actually enjoy going to a rock show and just letting loose for a bit.
Yeah, I have to ask, as a band, what gigs that you've played do you think have made you guys?
I won't lie. Yesterday was pretty good, and it was a small, intimate show. It was about 100 people at Mujo and George with the Black Hat Bones. Like sound-wise, it was awesome, and their people were there. There was a company called Better Live, which is also like a musical touring events company in South Africa, which was pretty good for us. But I definitely would say we've opened for a good few bands. Prime Circle at Bushlapa, that was pretty big for us, because going from jamming in our drummer's bedroom to that, was pretty crazy. And now we have a studio. And then opening for Francois from Coke, that was amazing. So we are, and the nice thing about creating the industry here is that anyone who matters that passes through here tends to to see us at some point if they're looking for opening acts, because the artists in this area, you obviously get some guys who market themselves well, but they tend to branch out to Joburg and Cape Town and disappear.
Yeah,
which I'm happy about, for our sake. But I think they're missing big opportunity doing that. But yeah, so we are option number one, especially for the rock bands, because they are desperate to get out there, but it's difficult for some reason. People want pop and other things. South Africa, the audiences are, I think it's so diverse that it makes it difficult to just throw a rock show, just do that kind of thing. But pretty much those big opening acts, the Prime Circle, the Francois from Coke, opening for Black Hat Bones. Our event that we did was our first paid event that we did, and we called it the Nuclear Garden.
Oh.
It was pretty cool. And we did it at the George Botanical Gardens. We got a stage. We had a whole lineup. We had DJs, vendors, tattoo artists. I got my nose pierced on stage. It was fun time. But yeah, it was a bit crazy. Yeah, we had I think about 200 people. Fuck, it was so good. And yeah, that was definitely one of our big moments in relation to our audience and who's supporting us locally and doing that. And that was big because they actually matter a bit more than the artists that we play for. That is a good leeway so that they can see that we're not fucking around and we can perform on their level. And those ones.
And we'll flip it around a little bit now. We've heard the best. Is there a gig that you'd say was the worst experience you've had? Where everything just went wrong, and how did you deal with it?
Okay. Well, it was most likely recently. The thing is we, on top of knowing what to do and what to think, ahead for and plan for, and so we were very anal about being ready for our shows. 100%, no cracks, nothing. We must be tight, otherwise we're going to fall off the wagon. Our product must always be seamless, and that's our one thing. Well, we still have fun, but if it's done perfectly, we have fun regardless. But yeah, so with the whole drummer dilemma, this was quite a touchy subject, but one of our first shows, coming back with the new drummer, we had a bit of a shit show at one of our shows. Luckily, it wasn't a crazy, a too high stake, but every show should be seen as a high stake.
Yeah, true.
Our upset was that that show just we didn't hit what we wanted to hit. We weren't all on the same ethics wave.
Right.
So the way we dealt with it was we literally finished a song, we had a 15-minute break, come to Jesus meeting, cut each other out, saying, no more fucking around. We get back, we do it properly. Otherwise, shit's going to change.
Right.
And it's a kind of iron fist. But if you're not going to be disciplined, it's not going to work. And that's one of the lessons we also learned. So I think, that was Mujo, the same show, the same venue that we redeemed twice since then, luckily. So we came back in the end. So we took a little bit of a break, spoke to each other, and we did the second half of our set and we nailed it.
Well, good.
But yeah, we solidly didn't screw up the first bit.
And, as the front man, what do you think goes into being a good front man and putting on a good show?
Crowd interaction is one thing, definitely. But I'm actually have like a crazy social anxiety when it comes to like talking to people. I'm not great with that. I connect with people. I have that skill. Like, I mean, I'm very, I can hop between, like friends groups quite well, different worlds of people. If you want me to interact with the theater people, I can do that. Sports people, I got you. The metalheads, yes. The classical, I can do that. I'm very versatile in my social skills. But when it's on stage, it's a switch. I govern it off of passion and expression. People tend to respond to that. It's like an autopilot. So yeah, that's my saving grace, is that I really love my music and people feel it. And it's just about if you believe in what you're singing, it will always be good. If you're blurting out crap, people kind of sense it. And I'll just make sure that my music comes from a real place and I perform it with my heart. And yeah. But also then you got the businessy side, is the networking. Must be able to interact and, be friendly to everybody. Don't be that twat. It's just like, I want to speak to you now. I'm a front man. I'm busy. I don't judge. I think that's also a very big thing. I'll speak to anybody. And yeah, just kind of, you have to always be open,
Yeah, approachable.
Yeah, approachable and let everybody in, which is also, it's a hectic part of it. That takes a bit of a toll long term. But
I could imagine.
You get drained every now and then, and you just want to sit inside and be miserable for a week. Happens. And that's when I write. So, woohoo.
Well, it works out well then. So, say in 30 years' time, when you're old and grey, you need a Zimmer frame on stage. You look back at your career. What needs to happen for you to feel fulfilled and like you achieved everything you wanted to?
Well, I would really like. I don't know. It's a very all over the place kind of dream as well. There's no specific goal. Every project has a different lifespan. Every project has a different, mission, dream, process. All those things contribute to how long it's going to last. I just wanted to. Bands aren't going to last forever, I feel. Have you seen any of Offspring's recent shows? Some bands that just shouldn't really, you leave that generation, leave that age behind. But yeah, there is definitely a want to make it worth it. Do the best that we can with it. And I would very much like us to tour internationally. That is one thing. So UK, America, please get us there. That's our thing, because South Africa this place is very good at crushing your dreams. I can promise you that.
Really?
You have to be quite resilient and really have to push, because I don't know. I can't even really explain it, but it's just like with everything that is constantly happening and falling through the ground economically, and pretty much just the fact that nobody wants anything to do with us because we're toxic at this point, it seems.
Right.
The country. So people have kind of just forgotten about us. Like if the Like when the big acts tour the world, very few of them make a stop here.
I've heard that.
Yeah, and that's like annoying. You know, I watched Iron Maiden in South Africa. When was it? 2016. I don't know. Some they were here, and yeah, that was like one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And I'm just upset that that doesn't happen often enough. I think they had Foreigner here last month or two. I didn't get to watch, but I mean, like that's cool. But I mean, like they're so like they're old bands. I mean, they aren't really stimulating acts in the area. So yeah, that would be a dream. I would just like us to run our run, show people what we have, and do it the best we can.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
And, I feel like South Africa at the moment has a very, there's a lot of really cool rock bands like yourselves. And what do you think sets South African rock bands aside from the rest of the world?
well, I can definitely promise you that, like, the fact that we're not a first world country is a big reason to why we're not as brainwashed. But so yeah, I think a lot of bands and musicians here do it for a very similar reason that we do it, for the love and the passion and just the drive to get their music out there. The people in the cities tend to bounce off of each other stylistically quite a lot. And like you go to Joburg and they'll have kind of a sound. You go to Cape Town, they'll have a bit of a sound, that kind of thing. But the ones that do stand out, I know there's a lot of like death metal bands that are really amazing, and they go to like Vaken and they tour in America and stuff like that. I don't understand, but they're doing so well, and I'm super happy for them. But yeah, I think America, all of those guys, it's pop driven. They're all like on that wave and they're riding that wave. And I don't know if there are a few underground bands I'd be more than willing to give a listen to. But I don't know. Every time I go on my phone and I look at things and see things, I don't know. There is definitely a difference, and I don't know if it's from the raising, the environment, or just kind of our mentalities are a bit different. Yeah, we're just different people.
I think it has, you guys over there have a very unique sound as well. It kind of sets you apart. I feel like you almost know you're listening to a South African rock band.
Oh, true. I won't lie to you. I have a bit of a weird philosophy when it comes to that. I try not to listen to too much too many local bands. Yeah, because it's something I learned to do when I was in Cape Town studying and performing that side. It's very easy to be competing with people that you shouldn't be competing with. If that makes sense. You need to kind of find your sound and just go for the world. I think that is the biggest thing. Because like, for instance, Cape Town, a lot of the bands that were just playing in clubs and stuff and wherever they play, they sound quite similar. There's like a little bit of a twang,
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to say boycott because I have respect for them all. And I mean, horns up to anyone who has the balls to give it a go. But I don't want my influence or my art to be influenced too much by local. Same with international. I'm a bit of a weird under the rock kind of guy when it comes to my writing. I listen to music and I'll enjoy my music, but when it comes to writing, I don't think of anything other than what's in my head.
Yeah,
I think that's why the questionnaire, I was like, I can't pinpoint influence because we all have our influences. I don't necessarily sound like my influence, but I adopt their passion and their intensity, just the drive. And I appeal to, the older bands appeal to me a lot more. So like from the 90s backwards, kind of, I'm a new metal baby as well. big fan of the Korn and the system and the weird, the people who really fucking just threw their voice out there and whatever happens,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's amazing because of that. I mean, you will never get a band like System of a Down or Flipping or Korn or something like that, and it's because of they just have such unique sounds. They sound like nobody. I mean, I think Korn, the only ancestor you can kind of link to that is Sepultura, but their groove. System, there's a band called, it's a new band. It's quite interesting. Fair something. There's a song called Dance of the Manatee that had a very System of a Down vibe to it that I enjoyed. But it's not the same, it doesn't, it doesn't feed it,
Yeah, I getcha.
So I kind of, and Pantera, like I mentioned earlier on, that vocalist, his whole revolution is like, there's nobody. He deteriorated closer to the end. But I mean, it's just such a Phil Anselmo legend. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I focus on. When it comes to songwriting, I'll pass the torch to myself. I don't like listen to, okay, how have you written this? How did you? I don't dissect everything too much. I let it flow with the knowledge I have and everything. So, and the experience and everything I've learned. I just more take a physical and raw approach to it.
I think if anything can be said, it's that you're definitely comfortable in your skills with, from being a frontman to being a musician to writing songs.
Yeah, it's very important, I think, because it's like heartbreaking to see everyone falls on the same train just because everyone's doing it, and it's so easy to get influenced without you even knowing these days. It's poison, bro. It's poison. I literally, the only reason I'm on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube is just to promote the band and to get us out there, because that's unfortunately where the people are. I can't run outside and hand flyers out. I can. We did do posters and stuff for our events, but I mean, it just doesn't work like that anymore.
No, not nowadays anyway. And what are your future plans? What's locked in stone?
Well, right now we're prepping for season. December time is here. That's our summer. You guys get to be nice and cold. But yeah, so we are waiting for a few big shows this December. We've released the EP now, so the marketing campaigns can jump on that. And yeah, we're going to be focusing on being heard and sharing our music. Next year, as soon as the season hype ends, we will get on our new single.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that's we do like thinking ahead, but not too far ahead, because in all of these processes and recording the single, there'll be like 10 checkpoints in between all of those. So that's our plan. But our plan for now is to just kind of perform in our area. We might be going to Pretoria as well. We need to start touring up and all around South Africa out of season. So we're going to play here in season. People will hear the name. When they all go back home, we'll go to them. We're planning on targeting the students, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Stellenbosch and Potchefstroom and those kinds of places in South Africa.
Not really.
But those are like our student towns, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, so our mission's to work with the student radio stations, like the university things. To try and get onto that scene, get the young metalheads and rockers out, and start spreading the word on a bit more face to face. Yeah,
sounds like a pretty solid plan.
Thank you. I hope so. Yeah, it goes. I'll let you know.
Do. There's one little thing you forgot to mention though. You have to jump on a plane and just come over to Europe, even just for one show.
I would really love to. Have you seen the exchange rate? I'll Google it quickly. What do you use? The euros, right?
Euro, yeah.
That's funny. 18 rand to the euro. Yeah.
Jesus.
It will take me 18 times longer to get there than it would for you to come here.
Oh man,
But we're on it.
that's a pretty good reason not to do it. So
Yeah, but you see, that's the kind of shit we have to deal with. When a band is in America, it's easy for you to just be like, okay, cool, let's go to South Africa for a month. Because it only cost me the allowance my mom gave me last weekend. And yeah, but I mean, we are definitely, funding is our biggest thing. So we're really trying to get sponsored and, just people to kind of invest in our brand, help us get to where we need to be. Recording quality should improve. Our touring capabilities will improve, all that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the mission we're climbing. And the fact that we've grown so quickly kind of forces us to wait a little bit. Oh, me going back to what you said a while ago.
right.
You mentioned that the record labels and stuff, they just give a look at your following basis. And yeah, that's 100% true. Because I've messaged countless people. There's a company in Cape Town, in South Africa, called The Kraken is Alive. And they're amazing. I don't know if you're familiar with Ailstorm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They came so close to like surpassing the Iron Maiden experience. They were so good. Oh, they're amazing. But anyways, I went to go watch them and the Atreyu, but I was more of the Ailstorm. They had a pirate festival there, and I messaged them. I'm not sure if Betty's Nuclear started yet. I don't think so. No, it was still Code on the 6 days. Yeah, and the message, I'm like, what do I need to do to get on the lineup? I'll flip and play in the beer tent. I don't really give a crap. Just something. And it's like, if you have 50,000 followers, we'll give you a look.
Oh man.
And I'm like, okay, well, guess I'll just go die then. It was like, so it's crazy. I just wanted to mention that. So it's like, that is what it is. People don't give a shit if you sound promising. They don't care what you sound like. It's nothing.
Yeah.
If they can see that they can make money off of you, that is what stimulates them.
That's it. So, it's all about the money.
Yeah, at this point, it does make more sense to be independent because fucking I also want money,
Yeah.
And it makes sense. Because all they do is just run the deals and get everyone together and be like, cool, recording's this much, that much, and they just take so much of it as well. When we can just source a studio, source videographer, like our studios, all those things, we can do it ourselves if we just have the discipline and the know-how.
Yeah. I feel like 50,000 though is a lot that they're not really.
Crazy.
That's not a fair chance. Like even if they said 10,000, it's achievable.
Yeah, 10,000 is a lot more realistic. But like it works in stages. Once you get past the first 1,000, then it starts snowballing as well. So the first mark is that 1,000. That's like the first milestone. Because then that 5,000 gets easier. 1,000 people are talking about your stuff. Then 5,000 people talking about your stuff. 10,000 is quick. 10,000 people talking about your stuff. 20,000 and so forth. It just goes.
Yeah.
Obviously with the right marketing in place, but it's that first. They're trying to get up there, especially without paying. But then you can pay, but if your strategies and stuff aren't, valid and like working, as soon as you can't pay, it just won't last as long. Your content still has to be good.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting. It's very difficult to do that part on your own. But it happens.
Yeah, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah,
jeez,
nearly, but doable.
yeah.
50,000, they can fucking jump off a bridge. If I can get 50,000 people, I can do my own fucking festival.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't need you. So that's why I think everyone's jumping on the independent train.
Yeah, it seems to be the better way to go anyway. More control over your music as well.
Yeah, and the monetization of everything.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to the last couple of questions. Everybody gets these, I'm afraid, so you can't get off the podcast till you answer.
Okay, fine. If you insist.
If you could see any performer from history in concert for one night only, who would it be?
I'll give you one. Sure, one guy though. That's tricky. I think an early '90s Pantera show would have been amazing.
Yeah, actually.
Or one more. Metallica 1999 SNM.
Oh man,
That's my baby. Fuck, that was amazing. I watch the DVD often.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate show now.
Sure. And then they redid it. They did a sequel, but it sounds worse. How does that happen?
I think maybe age.
No, like recording wise, like audio wise. I think they try to overproduce it somehow. I'm not slandering Metallica; they're gods and they're amazing. They've lived their lives, you know what I mean. They've made their statements, but compared to the first one, just personally,
yeah, it didn't really come close, did it?
Mm-mm. But yeah, that to be in that opera house, definitely.
Yeah. And the next one, if you had to spend 24 hours locked inside a room with any musician from history, living or dead, who would it be?
Ozzy Osbourne.
Really? That was quick.
That was quick. I don't know. Just oh man, talk about Sabbath days. Just like, I don't know. He just seems like, okay, no, but he was also difficult to talk to, so maybe not such a great idea.
I think it'd be a very long 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay. No, I would just like to meet him. I think. Let me give it some thought. Somebody. That's crazy. Never actually thought about that. Locked in a. Okay. Hey. There's a whole other sex. I just had to think about. I didn't think of for some reason. I'm just thinking of Millie, the guys. But yeah. Let me give you a random one.
Okay.
Give me 2003 Emily. I don't know.
I completely understand.
But yeah, there we go. Then I'll stick with that one.
Yeah, that's one of the best answers I've had now.
Just her, myself, and a piano.
Yeah. Perfect. And the final one. What song would appear on the soundtrack to your life?
Sure. The soundtrack of my life. I don't know. That's a crazy question right there. I'll give you a hardcore one and an interesting one. Okay. Hardcore, Revolution is my name. Give me Pantera. Yeah. And for the interesting side of me, Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Right. Why so?
I don't know. That was a big song for me while I was studying in Cape Town. It was our hype song. Like every time we went out. And for me, like vocally, it was always a fun little trick. Have you ever heard the song?
It's not springing to mind now, I have to say. I'll have to look it up afterwards.
Yeah, Focus was a band from the 70s that they kind of just did soundtracks. Like they didn't really like perform. They didn't sing. They don't sing often.
Right.
But that one song, he yodels, and it's a really good yodel. You should give it a go.
Right.
So yeah, for energy wise, and just was like a glimpse into how awesome musicians were becoming at that stage. You know, that branch from classic rock to the, I don't know, just pushing yourself. There's and then there's a live version of the video that's like double the tempo, which is even crazier. Show you what drugs could do in the 70s. But yeah, Revolution is my name because it's nice and dynamic and vibey. I don't have. I think that those are the two best answers I can give you. Obviously, if I start digging deep, I can give you like Low Man's Lyrics by Metallica or something. Oh, actually, No Leaf Clover by Metallica.
Right. Why that one?
Because it's a flippin' amazing song, and they only recorded it and performed it once. It's like a 4-leaf clover. It's rare. It's fun. Have you heard that version? That's also the S&M.
Yeah.
And they only recorded that one. And that's one. It's a song I find myself singing quite often.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess that's a good reason, because it's always in my head.
Perfect answer. So, right. Listen, I've really enjoyed the last hour now chatting with you. It's been an absolute education.
It's an awesome. It was nice to meet you and awesome to chat with you. Nice to get all of this band info out. And I hope the world responds to Rise, Betty Rise. Because we have to.
Well, hopefully it'll get some new ears on the music anyway.
Yeah, Flip, thank you to your audience. To anybody listening, I love you so much. From South Africa, with love. And from Betty's Nuclear. And from your man, Chad. It's been awesome.
Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is DJ JC, and I'm one of the DJs over at Super Cool Radio. I host a 1-hour metal show called The Brutal Block. We have new episodes every Tuesday, dropping at noon. So if heavy metal music is something that you're into, then make your way over to The Brutal Block. Throw up the horns, and let's get rockin'!
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, Keep rocking. Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show is over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.